that takes you beyond the scoreboard, bringing you stories from across the Vancouver Island sports scene. I'm Kevin Chirac, hosting at Bear Mountain in Langford for the Bear Mountain Cup, where hundreds of mountain bikers, including some of the world's best, are taking part in the race today. We're going to give you the 411 on that in just a moment, but first, let's preview what's on today's show.
I hated you.
Do I know you?
Reporter Dan Kahn confronts a lifelong enemy.
I'm a little bit of a different sort of athlete.
Canadian triathlete Ellen Pennock opens up on what nearly ended her Olympic dreams. We take a look at the wrestling factory in Port Alberni.
Are you loving this sport you're in?
I'm loving it.
You love it, don't you?
And the hurricane finds his rhythm.
Those stories coming up in a bit, but right now I'm with head coach of the Canadian National Mountain Bike Team, Dan Prue. Dan, you guys have been training here for a little over a year now at Bear Mountain. Talk to me a little bit about the race today and the venue in general.
Well, this is the first race of the Canada Cup series. The Canada Cup has been going for 21 years, and this is the first time in a very long time that we've started the year out on the West Coast. And we've got a great course here at Bear Mountain, a mixture of classic island terrain and some new school flowy stuff. So it's going to offer a great challenge for all of the riders.
Now, your team is recognized as, you have some of the world's best mountain bikers on the Canadian national team that are participating in today's race. You got Rio coming up this summer, 2016. What are the expectations this season?
Well, this season is geared towards Rio, as you said, and we've got our full team here this week. We've been training as a group for the last 2 weeks, so it's been really good to have all of our best riders training together and learning from each other. And if there are any issues with training or things we need to improve, we have lots of time to fix those things before the season starts.
Well, Dan, good luck this season and good luck on your quest to Rio.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, as I hope you've noticed watching VI Sports, the island is home to many current elite athletes, but it's also where some of the biggest sports stars of the past decide to settle down. Our own Dan Kahn met up with a former CFL superstar who now lives in Victoria, a gentleman Mr. Kahn knows all too well.
I hated you.
Do I know you?
When I was a kid, I was a Rough Rider fan. I didn't want to be, but in Saskatchewan, it's the law. At least, that's what my father told me. The Eskimos used to destroy my riders. Game after game, season after season, the Eskies would come to Regina and break my heart. That guy right there, that's Dave Cutler. Now, some of you young people might be going, "Who's Dave Cutler, man?" Dave Cutler is a football legend. He was the place kicker for the Edmonton Eskimos for 16 seasons. Dave was part of that monster dynasty that owned the CFL in the 70s and early 80s. No other team ever dominated the league like the Edmonton Eskimos. Dave won 6 Grey Cups, 5 of them in a row. He still holds the CFL record for the 3rd longest field goal, 59 yards. Western All-Star, All-Canadian, and in 1998 inducted into the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. When Dave retired in 1984, he held almost every kicking record, but not just in the CFL, in all of professional football. But I don't live in Regina anymore. I live here in Victoria. And you know who else lives in Victoria now? I needed to let go of my childhood anger and disappointment. So I asked Dave if we could talk it out. I was shocked to learn that he's originally from Saskatchewan, a small town called Bigger.
I am from Saskatchewan. Louis Riel was in my kindergarten class a long time ago, man.
When Dave was 5, his family moved to Victoria so his dad could join the Navy. Dave attended Simon Fraser University, got a teaching degree, and played linebacker. He had never even tried a field goal until one day at the gym, fate kicked his life in a new direction.
I started doing squats, and one day I just got bored. And in the corner of the weight room, there was a ball and a tee. And I kicked a little bit in rugby, and so I took this ball and the tee out onto the field, and one of our coaches came out and said, no, do this. And I swear, the first one I ever really kicked was 50 yards, and it went.
And Dave's career blasted off too. He was considered to be too small to be a professional linebacker, but he signed with the Eskimos in 1969 as their place kicker, a job he would own for the next 16 seasons. An incredible accomplishment. that came with incredible pressure.
Pressure is the most selfish emotion you can feel. Your fear, it's your fear of your failure. And so everybody on our team had situations like that in the game. And sometimes it came down to me, but I was thinking just like they were, as they thought like I did. It was not for me, it's for the other guys, so get it done.
After football, Dave taught school in Edmonton and worked in the local media. In 1995, he and his wife and kids moved to Victoria to be closer to family. Today he works in radio, doing sales and marketing for the Q and the Zone.
I love meeting people, and I love solving problems, and I just love putting things together, and this sounds really, really simplistic, but I like to put things together that work. And it doesn't matter whether, you know, I'm fooling around in the garden, or, which happens very little, by the way, or I'm fooling around, you know, just putting marketing plans together. It's something I enjoy. I enjoy puzzles.
As much as he loves Victoria, Dave still misses Edmonton.
A great town now, absolutely phenomenal town. It was a small prairie town with 1 million people.
In Victoria for Shaw TV, I'm Dan Kahn. And this guy right here, kind of like him now.
Thanks, Dan, and a special congratulations to Dave Cutler as he was recently named to the BC Sports Hall of Fame. We got to take a quick break. More from Bear Mountain when we return.
You're watching VI Sports on Shaw TV.
Welcome back to the Bear Mountain Canada Cup. Now, in the sporting world, it's common gospel that the more you train, the better your results. But that might not always be the case. In our next story, we meet an Olympic caliber athlete whose non-stop training regimen nearly pushed her away from the sport she loves.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little bit of a different sort of athlete.
She's been described as a thoroughbred, a natural on land and in the water.
Ellen has everything that points towards her being one of Canada's best female triathletes.
Ellen Pennock joined the national development team at 18 years old and was considered a rising star destined for the Olympics. In 2014, she moved overseas to Australia, then Spain, training and living full-time with some of the best triathletes in the world.
My trajectory was exponential, the amount I was improving.
But the novelty of living abroad quickly wore off for Ellen, and the high-level training environment designed to inspire and improve began to push her away.
Ellen went through a stage where I think she was starting to question her place in the sport and whether she was going to go forward.
The environment was intense. Her body could handle it, her mind could not.
When I was in the full-time athlete environment, surrounded by your teammates, your training partners 24/7, it was too all-encompassing, and I just didn't feel like I had a release.
The Calgary native missed her family.
Got really homesick.
Her desire and competitive drive began to waver.
You tie your whole self-worth to how you're doing in training, how you're doing against your competitors, how you're doing against your training partners, and you have nothing else to fall back on. There's no escape.
Some people it takes being triathlon all day, but Ellen's not one of those people. So again, if you put her into an environment that doesn't suit, there's no surprise that at some stage there's going to be a cost, and that cost is often burnout or being unhappy, and hey presto, it's pretty hard to do triathlon if you're not happy.
A promising athlete mulling retirement well before her prime.
Yeah, I've had to take off time due to injury, but this mental fog was the hardest thing I've ever had to kind of get over.
Ellen ran away from the world of non-stop triathlon. She needed a break.
I was a normal 22-year-old for a good 2 months. I went away and I went to Tofino with my friends. I went back to school. I got some sleep and I just grounded myself again.
After gaining a fresh perspective, her fundamental passion for the sport returned.
in the end, she determined that she had some unfinished business.
I love swim, bike, run.
The 23-year-old wanted to train and compete, but with a different approach.
We've kind of moved the paradigm. We're no longer shooting for the results, we're shooting for the process and having a degree of enjoyment in that process, knowing that if we get that right, the results will come down the line anyway.
Ellen now has a life beyond triathlon, attending school at the University of Victoria. She's found a balance.
If you train more hours, it's easy to make the presumption you should be better, but for me the game's always been how little can we train and how well can we perform.
But that doesn't mean she's taking it easy.
What's the like how often are you training?
Right now I'm training at least twice a day. Sometimes we'll do all 3 sports in one day.
How many calories are you burning a day?
I don't know, I guess a big day for me would probably be about 4,000 calories.
4,000.
Yeah, that would be a big day. I have a life outside of sport, so for me that balance has just completely diminished the stress I was feeling when I was a full-time athlete.
If an athlete's happy, and they're happy within themselves and they're confident, and they're obviously talented, they'll race well.
While she's rediscovered her spark, Ellen's Olympic hopes are still in question, but the potential is there.
I can't tell you how good Ellen will be, but one of the things we're working at is to try and find out where that is.
There's no one-size-fits-all formula for athletes, but for Ellen Pennock, she's on the right path.
One of the ways Ellen maintains balance with her training is to write about her journey. You can follow her story at ellenpennock.com. All right, now let's switch gears and head to Port Alberni, the small island city that is widely recognized as the wrestling capital of BC.
Athleticism, passion, and determination. The Alberni Wrestling Club has hosted the Alberni Invitational for over 30 years, building a world-class reputation that other clubs look up to.
So proud of you.
Alberni is just really well known as doing a class job, led by Mr. McAvey, of course, and we call ourselves, in Nanaimo, we call ourselves Alberni East, and we try to do the same thing, but you've got to set your heights high, your goals high, and it's just a fantastic job. You're a great crew, helpful with everybody. You feel like you're part of something when you come here.
And that feeling is what brings Alberni alumni back year after year, bringing with them a taste of nostalgia.
Come back and see the mats and the smell and the sights, and your body just automatically knows the physiology of it. You come back and you're ready to go, you get excited, the heart pounds. I'm excited for the kids. I'm a little nervous because that's what happens when you come to a wrestling tournament. You get nervous before you actually get to go out there and expend some of that energy.
You know what, I have a lot of fun coming to these tournaments every year because just seeing the fun that the kids are having at these tournaments and seeing that they have this opportunity to challenge themselves and just really to have a great time.
But champions like Ashley and Travis have left some pretty big footsteps for these kids to follow.
It is big footsteps, but it's one of those things where you know that you have a good path to lead yourself to it.
The motto for Alberni is the tradition continues, so just like as they started, we're continuing it all the time, working hard, making our family proud.
There's lots of role models that they can look up to in our program, and at the same time they know they're in a place that if that's the path they choose, they're in a place that can support them to get there. So I think we're pretty lucky that way.
And it's no surprise that the alumni seem to be even more excited for these up-and-coming athletes and the future of Alberni's Wrestling Club.
I think that there's so many opportunities for young people out there, so it's great to see the exposure, and Port Alberni has such a great wrestling community that I'm proud to be a part of it, and I'm glad to see that other community members really are taking advantage of what we have to offer here in Alberni.
All the wrestlers here today, my hopes for them is that they set goals and follow their goals and their passions, and you'll learn a lot of things that you can carry on throughout the rest of your life. A lot of values that I've learned through wrestling that are so ingrained into me because of wrestling that I carry on later in life. So it's good to see all these kids involved in sport and challenging themselves and always working hard, and most important thing, having fun.
With a club like this, it's almost guaranteed that there will be future wrestling champions that call Alberni home. In Port Alberni, I'm Jenny Fortin.
A town of 20,000 pumping out world champions. That's impressive stuff. All right, we got to take a quick break, but when we come back, a hurricane is on the horizon.
You're watching VI Sports on Shaw TV.
Welcome back. Now, she's a two-time world champion, two-time Olympian, and she just finished first in the Bear Mountain Canada Cup. Catherine Pendrel, how'd the race go?
It went really well, actually. Even better than I had anticipated it would. I got off the front early in the race and just kind of got to set my own rhythm and pace. The course was definitely pretty wet and muddy out there, but you know, I'm comfortable with that, living in BC.
And what's it like, you know, it's a race day where you're not just competing, well, you are competing with the elite women in the elite women's division, but prior to you, there's, you know, kids under 10 years old racing, and then they get to watch your race. How does it feel to be a part of that?
It's awesome. I really love it because, you know, you have little kids come up and getting your autograph before the race, and it's a really nice chance just to feel connected to your cycling community. You know, when you're at a World Cup, people don't necessarily know you as well, or, you know, there's different languages. Here, these are the people that are the future racers of Canada.
To be able to race the Canada Cup and see, you know, our competitors, but see also that new generation that we're able to hopefully inspire and just see the families, because the family camaraderie is what I always grew up with. So it's really, it touches home when you see all the families and the little kids, and you know, in 5 years' time, they're going to be hopefully riding with us on the start line. So it's a great venue to see with so many people turning out early March.
Now, how much does the approach change knowing that you got Rio 2016 to your training? Like, is it always on your mind? Like, give me an idea.
Yeah, Rio is obviously the ultimate goal for the season, but we also have 6 World Cups or World Championships to focus on. I think it's important not to get too wrapped up in one event, even though it's hard not to, you know, let that slip to the front of your mind all the time. But, you know, just taking it one step at a time and doing what we've been doing the past, you know, 10 years.
Now, you've already qualified for Rio 2016. This will be your 3rd Olympics. Does the approach change for you at all?
You know, I think approaches are similar. You just have more experience to bring to the table, and hopefully that can help me fine-tune it so that I have the performance that I'm looking for there.
For our last story, we send it off to our volunteer reporter / the man, the myth, the legend, known as the Hurricane.
Hello, sports fans. I'm Ken Hurricane Himes, a sports guy that's not shy, and we're at the Shoreline Community Center, where today, Victoria Rhythmic Gymnastics is the main attraction. And beside me to my left is Barb Bishop. She is the director, coordinator, head trainer, and posture police for this incredible sport. Barb, tell us about what we're going to see here today.
Well, it's great that you're in our training session today. So you'll see lots of different levels of gymnasts performing and also training in our gym. Lots of kiddies having lots of fun, and you and I doing some great moves.
Barb, let us know what kind of physical benefits you can achieve through this sport that would translate over to other sports, please.
Well, gymnastics is a lifelong sport, so you will increase your strength, your flexibility, your cardiovascular, so you'll be better at soccer, hockey, badminton, dance, skating. All other sports have a basis of your body technique, and that's what you get from rhythmic gymnastics. Good posture, good overall strength, and good overall fitness.
You know, I need all of those things, so I'm going to put my little outfit on and come on out here momentarily. What do you think, Barb?
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Tighter.
Higher?
Tighter core.
Tighter core?
Yeah.
What if you don't really have a core? Are you loving this sport you're in?
I'm loving it.
You love it, don't you?
Yeah,
Can you show me how it's done?
So you're gonna have a really straight body.
Straight body, okay, that's the problem already.
Tight core.
My core is tight. How's my core look?
Pretty good.
Okay, not bad, eh? How's my core?
It looks like this.
What? Whoa, look at that. How's my snake? Just the wrist, just the wrist. Is that better?
Yep. High five! He did great for his first time.
Hi, I'm going to talk now to Janaea Nelson, the gymnast, and she's been doing this since the age of 3. She's now 12, and she did a beautiful routine. And could you please give me some tips before I head out into the squared circle here?
Well, you might want to keep your ribbon off the floor and do some balances, turns, and leaps. And it's extra if you catch the ribbon in your feet. And yeah, so you just have to kind of keep it away from your body and just not let it get knots. And yeah.
All right, coach. Put me in the game. Put me in the game. Sports is like life. You should get out there and try as many new things as you can. Instead of sitting on the bench or on the couch critiquing everything, why don't you get out there and try it? Because it's a lot of fun when you try new sports. For VI Sports, I'm Hurricane Himes.
Never change, Hurricane, never change. Well, we're all wrapped up here at Bear Mountain. What a beautiful venue. If you have your own mountain bike, I highly encourage you to come and check out the trails. They got trails for all levels, and if you have your own mountain bike, it's free. If not, you can rent one. And we want to wish the best of luck to all the national team members on their road to Rio. And remember to connect with us on Twitter for sports news in your community and links to episodes of VI Sports. For everyone here at VI Sports, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Kevin Chirac, and stay tuned for highlights of the Bear Mountain Canada Cup.